support and resistance is one of those strategies that each and every trader has to know. Everyone must have started with support and resistance and a little bit of trend lines so that you'll be able to trade, right? So support and resistance, most people think that support and resistance doesn't work, but today I'm going to be sharing why this seems to be so, and what people are getting wrong, what we are getting wrong is all of us as traders, right? So support and resistance, let me just explain what it is first before I go into what I want to say, right? So support and resistance is what we're just saying that whenever a market, let's say that the market is rising, or let's say it's falling because this color is red, right? So the market is falling, right? And when it's falling, the market also always has pullbacks, right? We all know that the market always has pullbacks, right? So right over here, when there's a pullback over here, so this pullback over here, it started over here. So we are assuming that whenever the market was what has made a pullback, or is every region that is respected by the market, we act as a what, as a support or a resistance. Why? Because it was able to push the market against the trend that is current, right? So even over here, right, we continue going down. So this over here is also our resistance because it stopped the market from going up, right? So this area is our area of what, of interest, right? So what most people don't get right with support and resistance is they want to treat support and resistance as just a single level, right? Let's say this, for example, right? They just want to use it as a single level, just like that. But support and resistance isn't just a level, it's not a single level. That's what you have to understand, right? So what I advise most people to do is, if you want to mark out your support and resistance, then you have to mark using this box over here, right? So that you get the idea that you remove that concept of thinking support and resistance as a what, as a just a single zone, just a single line, and you look at it as a zone, right? So we can see that the market then later respected this resistance over here, right? So the basic concept of support and resistance is, if you are, let's take this for example, right? We are going up, okay, let's say we're going down, right? We are going down, the market has a pullback, so this now is a what, is a support, right? And whenever this support gets broken, right, it now acts as a what, acts as a resistance, right? So when the market pulls back to that region again, we're anticipating that it will fall, because now the broken support will always act as a resistance. I'm not going to go much into depth about why this is so or where this came from, right? But you just have to know it, because there are no longer what, any buyers over there, right? So over there, right, the market was going up, who came here, it went up again, right? And then this support over here, where guess what, gets broken, right? And when market put back to that area, that region, it gets respected. So you have to mark this as a what, as a zone. If you mark that whole zone, though this resistance was respected right there and then, but most of the times it doesn't act like that. It's not, it doesn't act as perfect, like just like that. It's not that perfect, right? So you have to mark your support and resistance levels as a zone, right? So over here again, right, we take this over here, right? As you can see, we've got a resistance over here. If we mark using this single line over here, right, if we mark this resistance using this single line over here, as you can see, it seems like it broke past, but what did the market do after that? So if you are treating it as a zone, you see that there's still room whenever you just be waiting for your candlestick confirmations or your trend line breakouts, right? So for here, you can draw maybe your trend line, right? And when the market breaks past this trend line, and I'm sure that there's a little retest, if you go to the 5-minute time frame, then you can enter that trade, because you are treating it as a zone, right? So it's just a point of interest, right? Just right. Though most of the times, right, the market does respect like what it did over here. We've got this resistance over here. When it gets broken, it now acts as what, as a support. When the market pulls back to it, it continued going what, it continued going up, right? But the market doesn't act that perfect every time, right? So let's take this for example over here, right? We've got this right over here, tested 2 times, right? It was a resistance. When it gets broken, we're anticipating that it will act as a what, as a support, right? So if you just anticipate that the market will just respect this single level alone, right, guess what, the market just hits your stop loss or whatever, right? And after that, it continued what, going up, respecting all your setup, right? So right over here, if you mark this whole zone, let me just drop this a little bit. If you mark it as a zone, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to enter when this candlestick starts rejecting to the bottom side, right? You'll be able to get what, to get your entry, right? So over here, you mark it as a zone. So I think I will teach more about what order blocks, because this concept is so like interlinks with order blocks, right? So that you guys can be able to to understand this better, right? So we've got this support over here. It gets broken, acts as a support, right? Acts as 1, 2, it was supporting, right? Then it does a little breakout just to take out those stop losses, right? And it continued going what? It continued going up, right? So the mark, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And if you want to learn more